Hello and welcome back to the Sex and Healing podcast. I'm your host, Erin Kyna, and thank you so much for joining me as we take this wild ride together through the realms of sex and healing. So I am recording today from the beautiful Nusa Lembongan, which is a little island off the coast of Bali, but it does mean that the sound quality might be a little interrupted by the sounds of nature and other people enjoying this beautiful island at the same time. But today's guest is an extremely special one. It's my dear friend and my own personal healer, Donna. Welcome, Donna.
Thank you, my love. Thank you for having me here.
It was always going to happen. It was going to happen at some point in some way, but what an awesome reason that we've come together now to share about our new course that we'll be launching in 2021, Leadership.
Totally.
So would you like to share a little bit about who you are, how did you become Donna Wallace? Just a big subtle opening question.
Well, you know, the whole incarnational process. In some ways, actually, I feel like I was kind of plucked by God out of the pool of souls and put into my very family and into the very conditions and the very experiences that I needed to cultivate something within me. But, you know, probably my first experience of spirituality when I was about 16 or something, and I was having a meltdown about ending a relationship with a boyfriend. I was really upset, and my very first teacher came and put her hands on my shoulders and said, just come and sit here in the corner, Donna, and I'll place my hands on your shoulders. And I was like, oh, I am at home. The first experience really of me being at home in my body through the hands-on healing of Reiki. And well, I never looked back, really. So many things have happened since then. So many wild things have happened since then, which have been, I don't know where to start really, Erin, but it has been a wild ride of definitely challenging things through my life and definitely amazing things through my life. And here I am at this point sitting in the teepee in my backyard where I do my work from, living my dream life with a husband who I love and adore and two gorgeous kids who I thank my lucky stars every day that I get to have in my life, and just like a really profoundly consciously cultivated life, you know. I just feel really grateful to be where I am now. And I've put in the hard yards to get here, and now I've realized that it actually isn't about the hard work anymore. Yay! How we come full circle.
Yeah. I often tell my clients, when you're new to this work, it can kind of feel like getting on an exercise bike where the resistance is turned all the way up. And those first couple of pedals, you feel like it's not even going to move, and it's impossible to even like inch the pedal a little bit forward. But as you like find that strength and it starts to build up momentum, and then at some point it actually gets easy. And I think we've both committed our lives to this kind of work and got through a lot to be here. And yeah, there comes an ease, even though the work doesn't stop and the depth of work doesn't stop and the level of challenge is massive. And actually, I remember Oprah shared a quote once, and I think it's a biblical quote, and it said, "To whom much is given, much is expected." And that really touched my heart, because I know I've been given so much. I know, despite all the hardships I've been through in my life too, I have been given the deepest, most loving heart and incredible gifts to heal people with. And I know that a lot is expected of me. And I don't say that in a negative way or an obligatory way, but actually, like, you've got work to do here, girl. In the same way, I feel like I just got kicked out of the warmth of the oneness, probably resisting and digging my heels in a little bit, like, no, I'm not going to do that again. Damn.
Warm womb space.
Yeah. Damn, here we are in another human incarnation, and a tough one at that. But you know, the bigger the challenge, the bigger the reward as well. And I think that's what you and I are both testament to, is that when you're willing to do that work and you're willing to overcome those hardships, the rewards on the other side are absolutely immense. And you and I both are so blessed to live lives that other people dream of living. And we'll definitely dive into a little bit of that a little bit more. But I do want to talk about the first time I ever met you. So I still very clearly remember this, actually.
Do you, Erin? Do you? Pardon? Say again.
I absolutely do remember. So it was 2006 and I just moved to Melbourne for my job with Virgin Australia. And I had another friend that I was training with, and she had gone onto the natural therapies pages. I don't know if you remember this. And she was looking for a spiritual healer. And she found 2 in her area. And one of them had a photo and a full profile and all these fancy features. And the other one just had a name, a phone number, and like one line. And she's
oh
like,
my God, that's so me.
yeah. She's like, this one. It's this one. It's Donna. Even though this one on the surface level looks, it has to be this one. And so she came to see you first, and she arrived at your house and you said, that's so funny you found me through there. I only put up that ad today. And that is the magic of the universe. So she came to see you, had an amazing healing, and then I came to see you. And so I still remember that home, and I remember your dog, and I remember your healing room. And I still really clearly remember a lot of the things that you would say to me in those sessions as well. But from there, you also then came to teach me my Reiki Masters. I already had my Reiki 1 certificate from when I was 18, I think, which is 20 years ago now. And I decided that I wanted to deepen my experience with energy. And so I knew that that would be energy healing. And so I came to see you, and you said, yes, actually, I would be open to mentoring you. And I would say
because you were the first person that I ever did Reiki, or ever taught Reiki Master to.
Yeah. And you said, I would suggest that we would mentor for 2 years. And then we did a healing, and you came out and you're like, oh, they told me to do it now. Where to go now?
In true Erin style, no, I want it now, and I want it fast, and I want it done. I'm ready.
I want all of it. More. Give me everything. What do you mean 2 years? I don't wait 2 years for anything.
And I'm like, I just listened to the messages from Spirit. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. And, you know, I woke up, I sent you a voicemail yesterday morning when I woke up, and I was like, fuck, I'm a force of nature. I fucking forgot how powerful I am. There's probably, I said it to my friend that I'm traveling here with at the moment. I'd said, you know, you probably haven't seen me in that full power mode, but like, if I was to defend you, like if someone was about to hurt you and she was like, ooh, and I'm like, exactly, like everyone knows that power is inside me, even if it's not expressed. Everyone's like, ooh, you don't want to fucking get on the wrong side of Erin if she's like, you know, I will defend what I love to death. Basically, I'm not a fighter, but I will defend whomever needs my defense. And so even though she's never seen me in full power mode, she was like, oh yeah, I could imagine that. But I just think about how much latent power there is inside of me, and how it hasn't really been, I haven't had an outlet for it to channel that intense power in the world. And we also grow up with all of these conditionings and messages of who we should be in the world and how we should behave and what it means to be a woman or a wife or a, who knows what other identities we take on. But I woke up recognizing, like, God, there's a whole nother level. I already think I'm living a fantastic freaking life. I'm living a life that people...
Yeah, like, Erin, like, if people were to look at you, they would be like, what is she talking about? Because we see her power, like, it's there for everyone to fucking see. Like, it's not hidden, right? And so, and here you are having this glimpse into this next level and opening of power that you know you have inside of you that can still be expressed. And that's the kind of work that you and I do, where we understand that there's more layers and more levels. And so, like, where you are at right now is what some people will dream of and want to be.
Yes.
And to have that as their expression of power. But this is the thing, we are always going into that. What else is possible? And then what else?
Exactly.
And then what else? Yeah.
Exactly. We live in an ever expanding universe. Like, how the hell could there ever be any limit to it? Like, when we're looking from our own personal perspective, it's like, oh, that's big. That's a big challenge. That's a big goal. I can't see myself achieving that. But when we zoom out to, like, the celestial vantage point, you're like, oh, look down at that solar system, and look at that planet, and look at that country, and look at that island, and look at that tiny little speck that calls herself Erin, and she thinks she's dreaming too big. please. That little speck doesn't know how big this universe is.
I literally did that last night, Erin. Sorry,
of course you did.
My internet delayed a little bit. I literally did that last night. I literally did that with one of my mentors last night. I did that huge big zoom out, and she was like, Donna, you know, basically she was saying, like, we need to expand ourselves so we can see that we are so much bigger than our lives, and our capacity is so much bigger, that everything that we can receive, every challenge, every opportunity, we can receive it all, and we are capable of it all. And what we do is we expand ourselves beyond, so we can just see, like, they're just little blips on the radar, and we get this beautiful perspective, and we can see how powerful we are. And it was so beautiful because I've got a lot of things going on right now. We're about to move house to our dream location and all of these different things, and going on holidays, and I need to pack our house and and I was telling her all of this, and she's like, yes, and it's not about us reducing what we do in our lives, it's about you expanding your capacity. And I was like, oh, yes. Because I can fucking do it all, and I can fucking have it all, and let me just show you.
Yes, exactly. We shall show all of you that it's true. You can have it all. I have that framed in my bedroom at the moment, actually. I can have it all, as a reminder, which also comes from my sessions with you, when you continue to remind me every time I hit up against my limitation or my concept, like, I can't have that, or I have to sacrifice that, or if I'm going to have that, then I can't have that. And you're like, Erin, you can have it all. And I was like, fuck, that's so simple and so true. So I currently have it framed on my desk, and I thought, what's the next level of my life? Like, where I don't need the fucking sign, because I do have it all. Like, in some ways, having to remind myself means that I'm not quite there yet, and I can get to that place where I am living that as a constant reality, unwavering reality. I do have it all. Yeah. So what I'd love to do is go back to 2006 and look at little baby Donna and look at little baby Erin and think about those women that met on the doorstep that day, and how far we might have come and what's changed for us. So I know at the time that I met you, you were working in a corporate job, and I was like, what? This lady's so magic. How, what? Like, my brain couldn't quite comprehend that you had this life as a full-time. I think you were full-time then, weren't you, before kids?
Yeah, I kind of, most like 4 to 5 days a week, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you want to share a little bit about how you went from corporate Donna with a job to TP Donna, changing lives and connecting with the universe all day?
Yeah, that was amazing. That has been an amazing, profound ride. I think, like you, there's always been something inside of me that knew that there was something else available and something else possible, and there would be this kind of yearning that would kind of sometimes surface and then sometimes subside. And I would be always doing like my healing work on the side as a hobby kind of thing, a sort of a hobby business. And I remember you telling me, like, that it's just crazy that I was working in a corporate job. You know, really, I didn't know, you know, we had a mortgage, and I really didn't know how it was ever going to be possible. And I was really stuck in that house space, and I had so much that I experienced, and a lot of like trauma after that. You know, sexually assaulted. I went through a 5-year police and court case process that, you know, was really pretty full on. And there's been lots of things that happened along the way. And then I had my son, and then I had my daughter. And after I had her, something clicked inside of me. It was like she ignited something in me, which was, if I'm ever going to do it, it's got to be now. And I've just got to give this a red hot go. And of course, I came across an amazing coach, Melaine Lee, and she really supported me in that transition out of my 9 to 5 and into a fully fledged business that could support me and my family. But there was this decision that happened, and I think that's probably one of the key things, Erin, when we decide, and something that's like the light flicks, the switch flicks on inside of us. Yeah, we're just like, I'm fucking going for that. I'm just going to see what happens, but why not, right? And so even after I had my daughter, I still went back to that corporate job, and I was doing corporate job through the day, 3 days a week, and it was an extremely intense job. And I was working at nights, and I had my baby who still wasn't sleeping, but it was amazing. I was so fulfilled. I had this level of fulfillment that I never had before, and I was booked out for like 3 months, like almost like really quickly. Like I was booked out for months in advance, and it was just crazy. Sort of like I just opened this can of worms and all of this amazingness happened. But I absolutely put in at that time. You know, I did the work and I showed up and I stretched myself into that space. And then there came a point where I remember clear as day, I was walking from the teepee. The teepee is a whole other story, right? But I was walking into the teepee from my backyard into our alfresco area, and I heard this whisper from behind me that said, "It's time." And I knew exactly what that fucking meant, which was it was time to leave my corporate job. And I shit myself, Erin, absolutely shit myself. I was like, but it's not time. I'm not ready.
Donna, I've got full body goosebumps. What you don't know is that I remember the exact moment that I heard the whisper that said, "It's time." And I know, to go full-time in my business. And when I resigned from my job, they started crying. They said, why are you leaving it? In 10 years, we've never cried for anyone. Why are you leaving? And I said, because it's time. And they said, how could we ever stop you? It's time. I can't believe it.
I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that about you.
That's
amazing.
I had amazing support through my corporate job. And I also had this incredible experience there where I got to bring my intuitive gifts and my coaching skills into that job. And I brought as much of me into that space as I could. And I felt like that was as fully expressed as what it could be. So I had this incredible experience of like almost completion. Like I did what I could there.
Yes.
And then it was time to like set myself free and really do the work that I was born to do, to make the difference that I know I can, and to do it in this space, in this format. And that, you know what I love about this stuff, Erin? I love that we are so programmed for this shit, that we are so highly programmed to do our soul's work that if we're not doing it, we're miserable. And if we're doing it, we feel so fucking fulfilled and so content, and like can put your head on the pillow at night and just be like, yep, I'm out cold because I know I fucking did everything I could today, and I was of service in the best way I know how. And that to me is a dream life, where I get to have that blend of doing work that I know makes a difference, but the blend of that with all of the other things that I love and want in my life. It's just such a beautiful match. It's a match made in heaven to me.
Isn't it? It also doesn't surprise me that you think that thought, because I have a very similar thought that goes through my head. Could I lay my head on the pillow tonight and die a happy woman? If today was my last day, did I do my work? Did I love? Did I make the impact that I'm here to make? And that's my guiding light as well, knowing that every day that passes, I've been content. I've done enough that should this be the end, my heart is full and happy, and I never held back.
Yep.
That it's an incredible feeling, and it's not as dictated by the outside world as people think. It's really not about the fact that, oh, my business hit that marker or I have this many followers or anything like that. It's this internal feeling that it's Erin being Erin to the highest and best that I can every single day. And sometimes that looks like profound healings with clients, and sometimes that looks like amazing experiences with my friends and lovers, and at other times it's me being in total peace and silence and solitude with God. It doesn't matter so much about what the outside world will see or what our external life looks like. And this is what you're saying with our internal programming, is you can have all the bells and whistles in life. You can have the external life that everyone envies and be deeply unhappy on the inside because you're not doing that work. And I think there are some people whose souls came to this life and that's their path, and that's absolutely okay. And then there's other ones of us who will suffer so greatly if we don't do our soul's work. And we have that knowing. But with that knowing also comes immense amounts of fear and uncertainty, and we have no idea how it's going to work. And in fact, when we look back now at 2006 baby Donna and baby Erin, we could not have dreamed that this is where we'd be, or this is how we'd get here. This is beyond what we were capable of even thinking. So if we then zoom forward another 14 years and look back, we can't fathom how we're going to get there, or what's going to happen, or how amazing it's going to be, or how expansive and fulfilling it's going to be. We have to trust. We have to step into that unknown.
I
it's
love
the fucking best.
Right? I used to be scared about not knowing how it was all going to work out. And now I love not knowing how it's going to work out, because it always works out so much better than I could have ever imagined. Like, the universe is so much fucking smarter than me and my little pea brain. Like, I don't have all of that blueprint and roadmap, and I don't need it, because it always works out so well. But there's keys and tricks for that, isn't there, Erin?
Yes, absolutely.
For us to be able to be in this position where it doesn't matter what fucking happens, it doesn't matter what you receive from life, that it can work for you.
Absolutely.
And that's really what we're going to be talking about in leadership, isn't it?
Yes, because I think sometimes people look at my life, and I know I have a life that many people would only ever dream of. I'm very aware that I am in an incredible minority group, that probably billions of people on the planet could only ever dream of living a life that I have. But I know that if someone else just left their corporate job tomorrow and tried to make this happen, it wouldn't happen. It is an accumulation of my own inner skills, my connection to my intuition of being able to listen and follow the guidance. And that the end result is not, in some ways, like, some people could look at my life and say, well, that's my dream, or like, oh, that must be amazing. But it's not actually what their soul is here to experience. So it doesn't matter how much work they do. This might not be it. So understanding yourself and knowing, like, deconditioning yourself of what people tell you should have or shouldn't have, blah, 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 is all very important. But it's that, it being connected to that inner guidance system, and then getting really, really clear on what is for us. And we get clear on that because it feels so fucking amazing. It feels scary as fuck to like take that leap. But there's a lot of stuff that comes before you're ready to even take the leap. There's a lot of strengthening and a lot of deconditioning, and a lot, like, we have to overcome so many limitations and so much fear. And then when it's time to take the leap, and we know it's time to take the leap because you either hear the message or the light switch is on, or for me, again, I probably dig my little heels in and cross my arms and resist because I'm scared, and like fucking life kicks me in the ass and pushes me onto that path whether I like it or not, then miraculous fucking things happen. But it's certainly not just a case of, all right, we'll just go and switch on the light for everyone tomorrow and boom, it changes. It's absolutely a journey. And I think the most important thing is, like, do you have that little seed of discontent? Are you living a life right now where you think, this isn't quite it, and when I lay my head on my pillow at nighttime, I don't have that feeling, like there's something else that's calling me, even if I don't know what it is, even if I don't know what it looks like, and I definitely don't know how I'm going to get there. There's just this seed of discontent inside me all the time, that there's more than this. I know there's more than this.
Yeah, or maybe it is that, like, everything in your life is awesome, but you just don't have that inner feeling that matches that. Like, you know, you look around you and you're like, I should be so fucking happy because look at this X, Y, and Z, da, 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 da. But you know that there's just that something else that's available, and something else, something more to life than what this is.
Absolutely. And when I look at my life now, I have unlimited freedom and unlimited choice, and I live I basically live in a postcard and can do whatever I wish. You know, the world is at my fingertips, and I never underestimate how privileged I am to have this existence. And on Christmas, I saw someone else's Instagram story, and I looked at the home that was like their family was gathering in, and I thought, I want that. I want that.
Wow.
That's the next level for me, is to have this and to have a deep sense of family and establishment and a home that I get to create and design and build. And it's amazing to think, yeah, I'm already living this dream that billions of people dream about, and I want more. There's more.
That's so cool.
There's more.
I'm so excited for you, even like, you know, personally, because I know you so well, but just to hear you talk about that, like, and that's what happens, isn't it, Erin? We have these little seeds planted within us. Maybe we observe them from other people around that we see, or maybe there's this spark of an idea that kind of just downloads into us or what have you. And there is this knowing that that's the next step. And what I wanted to talk more about that you already spoke to is that individual process, that individual journey. And Carl Jung describes it as a process of individuation, but this is really us becoming our truest and unique selves. And I think that our desires are born from that. It's born from an inner process. Like you and I are talking about things we want or desire, or having life that we love, having lives that we love, but it's born from this inner process, this inner weaving of this tapestry of healing from the experiences that we've had, of desires being born from challenges that we've had, or maybe inspirations that we've had, or what have you. But there's this uniqueness in all of us, like these unique gifts, these unique these unique desires that then get born from it. But it's so individual. And I love that how we evolve is really always just this coming back into ourselves of who am I really, and what do I really want? Like, is that even important to me? You know, like someone close to me actually today said, because we're moving and building our dream home, and someone really close to me said, oh, you'll have to like buy Mercedes cars and and I was like, no, we fucking won't. Like, that is not on my like that is not on my radar at all. Like, it's so funny that I don't know, guesstimate from that person, you know. I was like, no. No one this vision of me getting into a new car that I had, and I was still in the same tracky dackies that I had been wearing, you know, before. I was like, nothing changes. I'm just getting into a beautiful new car. And that's exactly actually what's unfolded.
That's amazing. That's what I also love, is that one person's dream is another person's nightmare. So we can't compare. We can't look outside of ourselves. When those moments of inspiration do hit and we have that knowing, like I know I saw that kitchen in that family home and the silent closing kitchen drawers, because yes, I can't tell you what the thought of silent closing kitchen drawers do to me and do to myself. Oh my. But what is unique and true for us, it only needs to be unique and true for us. And we can break the rules of what society says we should do, or what is available to us, or what is possible to us. But we can't do it alone. And when I think back to my journey of like the people that showed up on the path at the right time, the teachers and the expanders and the leaders and the other people that were living this reality. I had those light bulb switch moments when my first coach told me she was living on Ibiza as a full-time life coach. Oh, actually 12 months prior to that, she said, I left Virgin. And I was like, huh, maybe I could leave Virgin. And within a month I'd left Virgin. But up until then, it had not even been on my radar to leave. So it's like, there she is, one step ahead of me, leading me each way. And then when she became a full-time life coach, within 6 weeks of that, I was a full-time life coach. It's like, life is going to put the people on our path that we need to be able to go to those next steps. And it's never an individual journey. I remember when you called me and you had said, I'm inspired by you, Erin, you're doing it. You've taken your healing business on the road. You're living as a nomad.
He did it. Like, he did it way before I did it.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm thinking of getting a TP. And I was so fucking proud to support you and to coach you through that process, and to expand your mind into the fact this is fucking possible. Could I have a 16-foot TP in my backyard of suburban Melbourne and heal people and change people's lives? And look what that fucking TP has done. It's like, it is the fucking interdimensional portal that we knew that it would be.
Yes.
So it's a fucking honor to be other people's expanders. And, you know, I can just recognize that neither you nor I would be here without each other, and without the other people that also showed up on our path to support us and lead us.
Yes, like you, I've had so many amazing teachers and mentors and coaches and healers and therapists, just people who've come in at the most perfect time and taught me so many amazing things. And it's that very thing of me being coachable and willing to learn and willing to grow, even at times where I felt resistant or scared. There's been that part of me that has been more courageous than scared, more courageous than resistant. And it's like that desire, that yearning for something else to be possible is really what I've allowed to lead the way with my intuition, and saying yes to those coaches and saying yes to that investment and saying yes to ultimately to me.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, when did you know that you were not here to live a life like other people?
When I was a kid. All I knew at that point in time was these are the adult description is that I was the black psychedelic sheep of the family.
I was 100% the black sheep too. Holy shit.
Yeah. I always knew that I was different. Always knew. It was fucking glaringly obvious in many aspects, in many ways. And that was my experience, that I was different. I knew that I was different, and there was a sense of not belonging for me. But I always had something in me that was stronger than every message, every beating I got, every thing that I was told, which was all around conformity and not getting, not being able to have your cake and eat it too. There was always something inside of me that knew that I could have my cake and eat it too. There was always something inside of me that told me that something else is possible than what I've got.
Same. I always had that inner knowing, even when life didn't make any sense and I was suffering and I hated where I was. I hated everything about it. Like, I did not belong in that environment, in that place, like all of it was just so drastically wrong for who I was or who I am. But there was a knowing inside of me. And look, there's been times when I've been totally off my path, but you can only avoid it for so long. You can only try and conform for so long before that, like, nature is going to have its way. Your true nature is going to burst out of you. And if we don't heed the call and if we don't take action, then it can burst out in really destructive ways because our spirit will not have it. So I have learned time and time again, pay attention, listen, act on it, do as you're told, Erin, and things will work out great. If you resist, like, all your toys get taken out of your sandpit, like things will be wrestled out of your hands if you're trying to hold on to something that's not for you, because you're here for something and you basically don't get a choice. Spirit is going to pick me up and move me, make whatever happen, make things fall away in order to make space for whatever needs to come through. And then life is just fucking glorious.
And I really feel like the ultimate act of self-love is to follow our intuition, to follow that inner knowing. To me, that is the greatest act of self-love. When I deny that, I'm denying myself. When I deny that wisdom or that guidance or those gut feelings, I know that I am shutting my true essence down. And you can see it in other people around you, right? Where they are not listening to that and they're not really letting their lives be guided by that. Instead, they're too stuck in their heads or what they think they should be doing or what have you. And it's fucking miserable. Yes. It's miserable. But when you live in that space where you're like, and some of this I think comes with age as well, but it doesn't have to, like that level of maturity where you can just be like starting to delayer and derobe all of those expectations, all of those limiting beliefs, all of those things that we think that we should do, to really hone in and listen to that intuition and that inner voice and that soul guidance. And then there's this beautiful clear pathway.
Yes.
And the next step or two, it doesn't have to be the full pathway, but there's magic. That's where the magic is.
Yes, and that's also something that you and I help our clients and students with, is being able to discern that voice, because I know a lot of people hear it and doubt it, or they have conflicting voices inside of them, and I don't know which is my spirit and I don't know which is my ego, and what if this is wrong, and blah, 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 blah. And again, that's a skill that can be taught and can be crafted and strengthened, so that you have that knowingness. And what I realized as I was eating my lunch today, sitting on the fucking ridiculously glorious beach in paradise, drinking my coconut, was like, the growth process is actually really fucking predictable. It's really predictable. When you go through it enough times, and when you do exactly this enough times, you know exactly what to expect, you know exactly how it goes. And then when it comes up, you're not confused, you're not scared, you're not doubting. You're like, oh yeah, this part of the process. Oh yeah, this part of the process. Here we go again, ready to expand. That means this is going to happen. And it actually, like, it turns into this, there's almost an element of it being a game. We can take it so much more lightly. When you first start, it just feels so overwhelmingly solemn and heavy and real and risky.
Yes.
And actually, that's all part of the illusion.
Yeah, and consequential. Like, if you don't do the right thing, you won't get the result from the universe or whatever like that. And it's that's not the case. That's not the case. You know, we don't get punished by the universe. We don't get punished, and we don't get lessons. Like, we have opportunities for growth always.
Exactly. And it just becomes joyful. And so I know that you and I actually got together and said, we're going to teach together next year. We could both feel it. And then and you had said that you'd been calling it in. You'd been saying, I want someone to teach with. And then we reconnected again during Corona times, and we sat and thought about what we wanted to teach. You know, like, we were starting to tune into that message, and with time it really became much clearer. It was like, okay, girls, this is what you're teaching. And we're like, okay, we shall follow along. And now we're also being initiated. Do you want to talk about a little bit about the initiation that you and I, well, again, it's just part of the process when we're ready to expand. Like, all right, girls, here we go.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I go through my own initiation process of whatever it is that I'm to facilitate. And at the moment, I really feel like I'm just being called more and more and more deeply to just be choosing, like, so wholeheartedly choosing my life and the way that I'm setting it up, and choosing to take that stretch into that next challenge and that next opportunity. Like, I feel like, you know, I've got some really clear goals for next year. I've got goals around how much I can feel really at home and comfortable in my body, and letting my body naturally come into its beauty and its natural blueprint of its, like, its natural state. And so for me, that's that next challenge and that next step. And the other thing for me is around my business as well. So, like, my business has been going for, I don't know, 4.5 years now, and it's got this amazing solid foundation, and it feels amazing for me to be in it. And clearly it does to my clients too, because people keep coming to me, but there's, you know, a next level of growth and explosion within that I know is available too. And so that's my stretch at the moment. That's my initiation. And I recognize that leadership for me is being able to step into that place of declaring, like, I'm going after that. That's absolutely what I want, and being free to do it. And so you've heard me talk, I've already spoken about moving house as well. We're moving from the western suburbs down into the Mornington Peninsula, and we're building our dream home. And it's crazy how it's all worked out. Like, I couldn't have anticipated it. I had a feeling of what it was like, and I could never have guessed in a million fucking years just how well it would work out and how well it is working out. Like, my mind has been blown continuously to the point of we're even talking about potentially having, like, this stone island bench top that looks like rose quartz. Now,
wow.
I don't even know if that's going to happen or not, but, like, just even the thought of that for me is like, holy fuck balls, like, that'd be amazing. Right? And just
beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah, right. So for me, leadership is being able to just be sitting in my power and unapologetically declaring like, you know, I've already got this contentment, I've already got happiness, my relationship with my husband just keeps getting better and better and better, and you know, my relationships with people I love are amazing, and it's always to me this next level and this next layer and this next opening, but it's feeling what that feels like when I go into that space, to me it's like feeling it all and being in it all, and then allowing it all to naturally unfold and happen without me actually even really trying. Yes, I take action, but it becomes effortless.
Yes.
And so for me, leadership has been this journey of being able to take full responsibility for my thoughts and my feelings. And that was like many years, many years of being a highly emotional, sensitive bod, and just not knowing how to deal with all the overwhelming feelings and all of that stuff. So many years of being able to take full responsibility for my thoughts and my feelings. And now I'm in a place where I am mastering that, and I can cultivate my dream life from this place. Does that, I just feel like I went on a complete rant.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I love that you said that it's about choosing, because that's something that you've helped me become aware of right now as well, is like everything I want is being presented to me right now, and I have to choose it. I have to actually choose it.
You have to choose receiving it, I think, as well. Like we've talked a lot about this, you and I, about letting in the goodness and letting ourselves receive like that next amount of income, or that romantic love, or that touch from your child, or you know, whatever it is, like receiving all of the goodness that is around us. That to me is a choice, and it gets to be a conscious choice that we continue to practice. So the more that we can let in, the more that we can actually receive, the better life gets.
Yeah. And that's so easy for you to see on the outside. Again, this is why being supported on this path makes everything so much easier. Having you on the outside, like, Erin, you asked for this. This is exactly what you asked for. This is what you've been manifesting. You have to let it in. And I'm like, fuck, that was a slap in the face of truth. What have I been doing? Why am I fighting this? But that, like, if I was to just do this journey on my own, how long would I suffer there? How long would I get stuck at that point because I couldn't see what you so effortlessly can see outside of me? But I think you're exactly right. Like, we have to take full ownership of ourselves, full self-responsibility of our thoughts, of our feelings, of our energy, of our actions, which is really essentially being the leader of ourselves, being the leader of our own lives, which is the essence of leadership, is that extreme levels of personal responsibility and taking the power in our hands to create exactly what we want and not to be victims of life.
Yes, because then we move back into the driver's seat. When we're taking full responsibility for our thoughts and our feelings, it's no one else's fault that we feel this way. And yes, we can communicate effectively with others, and that's all good, but we get to go back into that driver's seat, and then we have agency in our lives again, which is perhaps the very thing that has been missing for people. That experience of like, yeah, I can actually cultivate a life that I really want.
Exactly. I remember when I was young and on drugs and suffering greatly and had immense amounts of personal pain and absolutely no skills on how to deal with that in any other way except for take drugs. And I was in the back of a taxi and I was crying, and the taxi driver said to me, "Oh, what's wrong?" And I said, "Oh no, I don't want to talk about it." And he said, "Well, sweetheart, you're never going to see me again. You should tell me what's wrong." And I was like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Being sullen, grumpy, victim Erin. Like, I don't want to talk about it. And he just persisted with me. And he's like, "You're never going to see me again. I think you should tell me." It's like, okay, fine. Blah, 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 blah. Listed off all the fucking problems of life that I thought that I had. And we pulled up outside my house, and I remember it clear as day. He turned around and looked me in the eyes and he said, "It sounds like you should make a new life for yourself." And that was the day I got off drugs. That was the first time anyone told me that I could make a new life for myself, that the power is in my hands. I felt some level of shame and embarrassment that someone thinks that I should just make a whole new life. But then B, like, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could just make a new life for myself. And I went in the house and that was it. Like, I absolutely turned a corner that day because of the first person ever to give me my power.
Wow.
He didn't give me my power. I always had my power. He gave me the awareness of my own power, and I chose to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that gift that he gave you, that insight of sharing what else is possible, a possibility of you creating a new life. He's someone who was persistent with you as well.
What a fucking angel.
Absolutely.
What an absolute fucking angel. And it's amazing that one line like that from a stranger can completely change the direction of life.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean when I say that my spirit wouldn't let me have it any other way. It's like, you can, all right, Erin, go down the gutter. Go on, go and try. We're still going to get to you.
Angels in the front of the taxi. Like.
Yep, exactly. And we're going to get you on your path. And so what I really want to do is just share with anyone that's listening is to just really to tune into your heart and to ask if that message is there, that there's more. Is there a knowing inside of you that there is more to life and that you know that this is not it? And as scary as it may feel or as uncertain as it may be, and you have no idea how, all of that's irrelevant. What's really important is, do you have that message inside that says it's time? I feel it, Donna.
Okay. And I'm so excited. One of the things that you said, I know that you're probably going to wrap up on that note, but I've got something else to say.
No, I've got plenty more to say, girl. Do not underestimate my ability to talk.
I never do. No, never do. One of the things that you said earlier was that I've been waiting for someone to come along that I could co-facilitate with.
Yes.
That is so true. I've been waiting for collaboration partners for quite a long time, and I've been asking the universe for them for ages. And here you are. Finally, we get to do it together. But one of the things that I'm really excited about is that I know that you and I, as a duo and a partnership, really complement each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're so articulate in the way that you explain paradigms and concepts and your teachings and things. And I know that the way that I can bring the energetic work that I do into this space, we're just going to complement each other so beautifully through all of these different topics that we've got to teach. It's going to be
two forces of nature.
Right?
2 forces of nature coming together. Like, holy shit balls. I know. It actually blows me away a little bit to think about the power, like our powers combined.
Right?
But we have very different but very complementary gifts. And I wouldn't be who I am now without you sharing your gifts with me. And I hoped that I have shared my gifts with you in the same way to contribute in your life and like bring those two together. And it's just off the charts. But yeah, what I wanted to do actually was talk about a little bit of the practicalities of leadership, because it's an amazing journey. Do you want to take the lead?
Well, we really sat down together and tuned into what leadership wanted to be, but also about the different topics that we wanted to teach and how we're going to teach it. And I think that we've got this beautiful, like, it's going to be a 10-month program where we weave different topics through, and we've done it in such a, well, guided by spirit, but we've done it so eloquently in the way in which we do cover the program. I mean, you can go and read the program on the webpage, right? But there'll be combinations of, like, so a few calls every month, 2 or 3 calls every month, and calls led by Erin and calls led by me, and opportunities for hot seat coaching and on the spot, you know, question and answer sort of stuff as well. But there'll be this amazing, sometimes I get a little stuck for words when I can feel it so energetically. Erin, it feels to me this beautiful spiral that starts, and it's like this gold color spiral. at the beginning, and then it just sort of ebbs and flows and weaves until this radiant light at the end of it. And I think that our intention is really for each person who comes on this journey with us to find that place of unique leadership within themselves. And my vision is not just for each of the amazing people who join us, but it's that ripple effect, all of the other people that you're here to touch in your life, and how when you activate this light and this leadership within you, that it has an innate and natural ripple effect. And so I've got my vision on all of the other people that the people who join our course are going to touch. Mm-hmm. What do you want to add to that?
Well, I too see it as this big ball of light at the end. And actually, when I was with you reviewing 2020 and looking towards 2021, I saw myself as a big silver ball of light. And I realized that my word that will guide 2021 is expansion. And what I've really learned in the last 6 months of 2020 is to get out of my mind any kind of concept of a quick fix or an immediate hit or an immediate gratification, but that I got goosebumps. But there is so much to be said for the slow and steady gradual increase. And that's what 2021 is for me, is this constant moving in the direction of my dreams. And just, I was thinking today as I was swimming in the beautiful ocean about the concepts with the Hindus about creation, maintenance, and destruction, and that these are the three forces that hold together our universe, and things are either being created or they're maintaining, and if you're not doing either of those, they're destructing naturally. And this is just a cycle of life, and it's the law of atrophy that whatever you're not investing in is going to start to decrease. And so in life, if that force is just always happening, things are just going to naturally atrophy. If we don't invest in them, then we get two conscious choices, is to create or to maintain. And so to think, I want to stay in that creation mode. I want to constantly be investing in myself in a way that's not about getting an immediate result, that's not about getting a quick fix, that's not about just taking my problems away, but creating this like solid foundation of moving in that direction in life, where I'm not going to get swayed off my path. I'm not going to lose what I just gained. I think that law of atrophy is naturally happening. Things will drop away as I keep moving in that direction. Yeah. It's not like we can override the laws of the universe, but it's like, I love that this is a 10-month container, because that's exactly what it is. It's like, we're not promising that we're going to change your life in 3 months, see you later, miracle solution in your life. We're saying we're going to put you on that path to your own personal expansion. We're going to hold you in that. We're going to support you in that. We're going to offer everything that you and I have to offer. Two forces of nature holding you in that. And, you and I have talked about that analogy a lot of the diamond, of feeling the pressure that it takes, having enough loving support around you. And life naturally provides the hardships and the challenges as well in order to help us grow. That we hold that container for that length of time. The results that would come from that are just so phenomenal. Absolutely. So long lasting, so
life-changing.
Absolutely motherfucking life-changing. And you and I have been doing this shit for so fucking long. Like, we get to make it easy for you guys.
I love teaching people all of the tips and the techniques that I do that I learned the hard way. Like, don't go down. I'll give you all the things that
exactly.
I know work. I've tried a million different things. Like, let's just do it the easy way and the way of the least resistance and the way of just a fun way. Let's just do that.
Exactly. Ease is my other word. Ease and expansion is guiding 20. Yeah, because I'm like, let's just make it fucking simple and efficient and easy. Why complicate? Why waste energy on anything complicated? Fuck that. There's an efficient way to do everything, and I love it.
Yes. And why not? Let's just get to the fucking point. Let's just get to the point. And let's just have what we want and experience what we want and all the rest of it can just disappear. And the
Exactly.
other thing that I know the other thing that we are also really good at is celebrating. And I think that that is something that gets skipped over far too much. I love being a cheerleader for my clients. They see me in ridiculous states, squealing and crying and clapping and jumping up and down, because I just fucking love celebrating when people I work with get amazing results and have incredible things happen. And sometimes it takes another set of eyes and ears and another soul to really get some of that inner transformation that happens even when things aren't showing up on the outside, because you can have these incredible major transformations, but they could be really skipped over if you don't know.
100%.
Yeah,
that happened to me just this week. Again, this does not surprise me. Life gives you everything that you need, like, for these moments. But I went to the gym while on holiday for the first time in 38 and a half years of life. So I've been personal training for 6 months. Another one of these, like, slow and steady, committed, moving in the direction of my goals, having an amazing time in that. And here I am in tropical paradise, and they have this gym, and I went with my friend. We get down there. It's a fucking sweat box. The weights are rusty. There's nothing to hold the weights onto the bar. Like, it's all Indonesian men and my friend and I and one other woman up the back. And I was just like, God, this is so far outside of my comfort zone. I cannot, like, I'm just going to get into my own little corner and just get my work done and not even look up and look around me. And we got back on the scooter to head home. And my friend said, I'm always really proud of myself when I train when I'm on holidays. And I was like, holy fuck, Erin, what you just did was massive. What you just did, despite all of these things that made you uncomfortable, being in an environment that you're not really comfortable in, being in the heat of Bali without air conditioning, to be on holidays and to still make that choice for yourself is such a massive achievement. And without him witnessing that, I never would have acknowledged myself. And, like, it was such a gift. And I said that to him over dinner. I was like, you really made my fucking day by just saying that. He was only talking about himself and his own ability to acknowledge himself, but it reflected back to me something I couldn't see on my own.
Yes.
And it was just so fucking awesome.
Yes. Right.
So yeah,
and that
to training
amplifies the experience of what you did, being celebrated, whether it's you celebrating yourself or someone else pointing it out to you, amplifies the experience. And so that sense of pride and resilience and commitment and, like, fucking fuck yeah, I did that, that feeling gets amplified through celebration.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I would love to invite everyone that is feeling the call to come and spend 10 months of 2021 in our beautiful, beautiful, warm, loving nest of joy and ease and expansion and celebration and diamond making potential. And all of the technical details can be found at erinkyna.com/leadership. But before I wrap up, is there anything else that you would love to say or share?
I would just like to say thank you. And thank you for this podcast, and thank you for your commitment. This is a little, like, I'm digressing a little bit outside of the topic of leadership and how to live your best life. But, you know, I've been on my own journey with you helping me over the last however many months, probably 6 months too. And that exploration of my own sexuality, which is not something I've spoken about publicly yet, has been deeply profound for me. And I just want to thank you so much, because it's opened up something that I didn't know I had access to. And you have been integral in that support for me. So thank you.
Oh, Donna, thank you. Thank you.
And just the things that are happening for me out of that are just, again, mind-blowing. And I love that we had just brought back together, you know, we've come together and apart and together and apart and together and apart since 2006. And it's just so fun to play with each other like this, in this way, you know, being able to really raise each other up. And so thank you for playing your role with me too.
It has been an amazing year of transformation for you and I. And, you know, I came back to you as a client this year for the first time in a long time. And that investment into myself is life-changing for me too. And I wouldn't be where I am now experiencing what I'm experiencing now without your support by my side too. So thank you for all the profound ways that you also changed my life.
It's just a love thing.
What a fucking awesome friendship. So my personal intention for 2021, and I'll do a separate podcast episode around this, is exceptional relationships. So that's exceptional relationships with others, with myself, with my body, with my finances, with God. So this is an example of an exceptional relationship in my life. So thank you. Well, thank you everyone so much. I hope you have enjoyed this as much as Donna and I clearly have. But as always, we would love to hear from you. So you can head to my website and find out more about leadership, or you can reach out to Donna or I personally, and both of our contact details and ways you can find us will be found in the show notes. But if you have any questions, let us know. If you're challenged in any way, let us know. We'd love to know your takeaways. We'd love to know what you gained from this. And if there is someone else in your life that you think would benefit from this episode, please do share. Please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And I fucking love you with all of my heart. And I hope that we get to see you in leadership in February 2021. Mwah. Mwah.